sun. Every day I water it. Watch out for pests and weeds until I harvest it. Go ahead, grow hard, grow smarter. Go ahead, go hard, grow harder. Go ahead, grow hard, grow smarter. Go ahead, go hard, grow harder. Photosynthesis, yeah, that get my plants light. Fertilizer and nitrogen get my soil right. I give my plants plenty of water cause they need it. The roots compete for the nutrients, so I weed it. Try to conserve my energy, I might need it later. When you use less fuel, it makes the profit greater. I'm eco-friendly when I'm growing. Thankful for the sunlight and water when it's flowing. Shout out to all the bees and all the pollinators. They help to reproduce the plants when we need them later. On the farm, we grow the food that we need to eat. From the vegetables and fruits to the fresh meat. We grow that fiber for our clothes and to build with. And buy a fuel for my tractor, let's take a field trip. It's Farmer Brown going green even in my city. Growing hard, got the green team with me. First I break the ground, and then I till it up. Put fertilizer down, plant seeds and sow it up. Let it get some sun, every day I water it. Watch out for pests and weeds until I harvest it. First I break the ground, then I till it up. Put fertilizer down, plant seeds and sow it up. Let it get some sun, every day I water it. Watch out for pests and weeds until I harvest it. Go ahead, grow hard, grow smarter. Go ahead, go hard, grow harder. Go ahead, grow hard, grow smarter. Go ahead, go hard, grow harder. Break the ground, then I till it up. Put fertilizer down, plant seeds and sow it up. Let them get some sun, every day I water it. Watch out for pests and weeds until I harvest it. First I break the ground, then I till it up. Put fertilizer down, plant seeds and sow it up. Let it get some sun, every day I water it. Watch out for pests and weeds until I harvest it.
Welcome back once again, Black Aggers, B1AGers. I hope you had a great weekend. Hope all of y'all are doing well. We're back again with another episode. It's your boy John Henry Harris, also known as John Henry 904, and Farmer Brown the MC. And we're here to bring you this B1AG news. That's where we talk about Black agriculture as it deals with agricultural production, education, marketing, nutrition, and economics for the Black family and the Black community. Now, today's episode, we're going to dive deeper into the importance of advertising in agriculture. Now, that is the whole reason why there exists B1AG, and that is also the reason why we're here, because we need to really put more emphasis on the importance of agriculture, especially in our community, and as it deals with our local food systems and the sustainability of the B1 family. So, Farmer Brown, let's go ahead and get this conversation started. But before we do, I just want to say to our viewers out there, we really want to focus on you as well. So if you can send us pictures of your gardens, your farms, it might just be just a plant that you're growing. Send it to us so we can highlight it on the show and show everyone else, your green thumb, show them how you're participating in agriculture, and plus, if you can, like and share each episode that you see. Let's go ahead and get the word out there that Black agriculture is important, and we must think about it. So to go ahead and start the discussion about advertising in agriculture, go ahead and take it over, Farmer Brown.
First, I would just like to say peace to the family, and I'd like to send a special heartfelt shout out to the brother Tyson Graves here in KY, man. I appreciate you reaching out. That made my day, man. And it kind of goes into what we're going to be talking about today. It's about advertising. When we think about the context of advertising, a lot of times we think about a product being sold. We think about the commercials we see on TV. We think about catalogs. I grew up in a time when we had the Sears and JCPenney catalogs. But advertising also goes into just concepts. When we think about why Pepsi Cola, why Holly Farms, why Green Giant would promote or use a Jolly Green Giant, is for the sake of bringing awareness to your brand. Here at B1AG, when we say B1AG, it isn't just a word, it isn't just a hashtag, it's a brand. You know, there is agriculture, production, cultivation of plants for fiber, food, and fuel, but then also a culture. We realized that over the last century or so, we've had a fall away from our agricultural roots. As we had gone over one of the last shows, black farmers specifically in what we call North America, has lost 80% of their land. This goes back from 1920, when we represented 15% of the farmers, to 2007, where we're only down to 1.4%. And so when we have this conversation about advertising first, and I know you have some information about how this is a much bigger dynamic in the broader agricultural sector as well with the non-black farmers. This is one of my favorite books right here. The elder Jim Embry. This is my mentor. This is who got me started on urban gardening. You know, the concept of a black man doing gardening in Lexington, Kentucky was like very abstract. But this is one of the gifts he got for me and my twins. This is a and you saw my twins wrote on it. This is Black Farmers in America by Juan Williams. You know, this is a staple in most black agricultural homes and families. But one of the things, and like I said, this is my favorite book, and I don't want to throw shade, but to really paint a picture. One of the first things you saw when we turned this stream on was the Grow Harder video. I recorded that a few years back at Kentucky State University on the research farm. When I was doing Farmer Brown the MC, the whole concept was, you know, how can I turn the Bill Cosby idea into a palatable platform to talk about agriculture with specifically black kids who hadn't necessarily been exposed to it, or their exposure to it had been through the narrative of slavery. And so the concept was basically, and I'll just use this book for example. It's in black and white. I'm not going to go through all the pages. And like I said, I feel like every black family in America should have this book. It's about $50, but it's definitely worthwhile to have. Coffee table. But the pictures are black and white. To people in the sector, you understand the importance of this book. There's a lot of elders in here. There's a lot of elders who've been in this fight for decades, and they're represented in this book. And so when we talk about B1AG, the importance of advertising, the research mind in me went to, okay, if I was a 5-year-old, if I was a 10-year-old that heard, you know, this word farm, if I heard this word agriculture, how would it resonate with me when I hear it? So if I look at a book in black and white, I'm on my phone, I can scroll through thousands of images a day. As we've discussed, we know that specifically black children interface with media 4 times more than every other group in North America. How are we going to advertise agriculture to our youth? How are we going to advertise agriculture to the parents who spend money? How are we going to advertise agriculture when we talk about codifying our approach to reasserting ourselves in agriculture? You have to advertise it. And part of one of the reasons of this show today, I came across an article where even in mainstream, I will say mainstream or white America, there's an issue of advertising agriculture. We've been so inundated over the last, few decades that the concept of agriculture is a white male on a tractor. Even when they got colored TV, it's still a white male, you know, doing this hard farm work. And a lot of times, you know, if you're a black child watching this, you're going to have a dissonance from it. You're not going to see yourself as a part of this sector. And so, you know, as a result of constantly promoting agriculture like it's a white male dominated, no other group has a part of it. The only group that does is the Mexicans that we bring up. Is promoting it in the wrong way. We know every civilization across this planet, however long you want to say this planet has been here, was agrarian. You had to produce your food. You had to produce the fiber you use for your clothes. You had to figure out ways to make use of the land around you. Even when you were hunter gatherers, you had to eat. And so for us to find ourselves in 2021, I think the number now is 3 out of 5 Black households are food insecure. We'll keep beating in your head. 1.4% of 100 farmers, primary operators in North America are Black, what we classify as Black. We have to do some advertising within our communities. There's one thing, getting straight to the bag, wanting to make money, but you have to work out logistics. If I'm a farmer in any rural area and specifically South, in the Southeast, do I have a base of people who's going to buy my products? Not only that, if I'm 50, 60, going into my 70s, do I have a replacement force to come in and be able to take up this work? Do I have a large groundswell of young Black males and females who are going to colleges, taking advantage of the ag programs, the scholarships to be able to enhance my operation? You have to advertise that. Early on, before I even started Farmer Brown at Kentucky State University, we had a thing called the Thoroughbred Express. And so what we did, this is shouts out to President Raymond Burse. And so we go around different spots in Kentucky for the purpose of just advertising the school in general. But in my end, this is my first time really interfacing with other people. This was about 2013. This is my first time interfacing with other individuals. And I was, handing out flyers for the college, just talking about some of the different programs that we had going on, how to go about applying, being able to point people to admissions. And I realized, like, okay, the people that we're promoting to don't really have a context or historical background of why this is important. Even at this time, I didn't understand how deep the whole agricultural rabbit hole was, especially in relation to us. But there's a huge disconnect. And I realized, just the musician in me, the person that's in the marketing, understands you have to advertise whatever it is you want to talk about. Whatever behavioral change, whatever attitude or opinion change about anything you speak about, you have to advertise and show the benefit of it. And so going back to, once again, like I said, this is one of my favorite books. But like I said, if I was a child looking at this, would this make me want to jump into agriculture? Would this make me want to put my smartphone down, turn down my YouTuber dreams, turn down my sports athlete dreams, my entertainment dreams, my fashion designer dreams? Would that make me want to turn it down and go into this agricultural field? Here at B1AG, we know, we don't think, we know this is one of the biggest fights, us living on this planet now. This is one of the biggest fights we have. We had spent a few minutes going over this recent bill for socially disadvantaged farmers. We have some real issues we need to address. And, we can go back and forth talking about it. But even as we're talking about it, we need to make sure that we are reinforcing the importance of this to youth. And we do this through advertising.
Now, our youth get advertised to every day, Farmer Brown, from the music they listen to the clothes they wear, to the style, the hairstyles, to the latest dance craze on TikTok. But how do we get our youth to be engaged in agriculture the same way? Um, my grandfather, I grew up farming with my grandfather. So I didn't have to have it marketed to me, so to speak. I was eating the food every day. You know what I'm saying? I seen the deep freezers full of food. I was out there in the field. I watched a field with nothing turn into a harvest that turned into not only money for us, but also, after my grandmother put her spin on the food that we brought home, the deliciousness and the nutrition, what I'm saying, that we took in with it. That was a lot of good times. Food brings a lot of people together. But how do we market to our children, especially our children, uh, how important it is to be involved with agriculture? We would like them to take it as a career, But even if they don't take it as a career, they need to have this skill because it is a skill. And not only is it just a skill, it is a survival skill. So how do we get this message to our youth?
Once again, looking at this recent relief bill, you have to, a lot of people now want to, I'm going to do something based on this is going to benefit me. I think that's the wisdom of this younger generation. They're not going to sit around and just do things out of tradition. They're not just going to, find something valuable just because an older person told them. They have to see with their eyes that this, what you're telling me, is going to be beneficial to me. And so, once again, I would say the danger of this relief bill is giving a false sense of security, a false sense of accomplishment. And so my thing is, it has to be a grassroots effort, just as much as we promote drugs through our music, just as much as we promote specifically Seagrams. Jen got me some Seagrams gin. All the homies got cups, but they ain't pitched in. How many people started drinking gin and juice because they heard somebody who was marketed to them? I remember back, what was it, 93, 94, Snoop Dogg was one of the first black rappers on the cover of, what was it, Vibe magazine, with the Scully. That changed the game. That changed music. That changed American culture, just showing this archetype of a male, black male on the cover of Vibe. Everybody knew that this was what we'll call a rapper, but Vibe understood if we want to paint this picture, whether it was nefarious or just, wanting to get more subscribers, they had to market that. Snoop was advertised not as Calvin Broadus, but as this is an archetype, and this is what this archetype does. This archetype is going to promote all of these products. I'm going to promote Seagram's gin. I'm going to promote marijuana, which is now legal. We have millionaires popping up all around the country with dispensaries, while a lot of our men, following this archetype of what Snoop Dogg represented, are in jail. Your current president had a hand in creating this bill. I'm getting to a point that all of this ties together. Marketing isn't just important because of what you buy. Marketing and advertising is going to affect how you see yourself within whatever this structure was. I imagine if you talk to most of your ancestors, especially like your grandfather, the concept of glorifying a hood. When we break down what a hood means, when we break down projects, the word project isn't accidental, right? Like, it's a project. I'm working on something. That goes back to the Rat Utopia experiment of the 1959s. How do you get the most out of this group of people and give them the least? And we can give them the dirty space that we're not going to do anything with, but we still want to usurp their energy and resources. Rap music has been a perfect advertising tool. A lot of the kids, but they're not necessarily going to remember what was written in their social studies books, but they will remember what their favorite artist talked about. I think the concept of Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, the spotlight that they got during this recent campaign period, I think that should tell a lot of us a lot about, okay, do y'all think that this is all we sit and think about what these ladies are talking about? Or are y'all trying to get us to think a certain way? And, I can tell you here on the ground level, it's definitely affecting the way people are moving. And so when we keep this conversation in agriculture, like I say, when I speak to kids, we go do different presentations. I try to get them to understand that agriculture isn't just these pictures that a media corporation who has access to a button that can make the character darker or lighter is intentionally making these characters lighter. And so this has to be a value on our end, grassroots, to create these images. You asked the question, how do we go about doing it? Before there was a written language, before there were books, there were symbols. People operate on symbols. People operate on signals. I saw this visual of this person, the signal. If he's frowning, I'm not going to want to do that. Then I'm more likely. And I didn't say any English words, but the context of my behavior and my context made all the difference in the world. Once again, if I'm turned up in Chicago, if I'm turned up in Charlotte, if I'm down in Miami, I'm getting to wherever I'm at. Is this going to make you see that the fight of protecting Black-owned farmland, creating a new base of Black agriculturalists, is this going to make you okay, I'm gonna make this trap secondary. I'm gonna make, this business I got going on in the streets secondary. Is that gonna make you change that? You have to affect people through our culture, and once again, we have an opportunity that our ancestors never had to use media now to create the culture. One of the beautiful things about this platform, Black Boss Sports Network, is we're able to just have candid conversations. Neither of us are like professional or like super farmers. We're people that grow. We're people that understand the value of doing education. And so the concept is that with B1AG, we're advertising agriculture. We're not necessarily advertising a particular product more so than the concept of agriculture. We understand that there's somebody somewhere that might come across this and watch this. They might glean some sort of epiphany from what we're talking about. And wherever they're at, they might have a family farm where, we got 25 acres sitting out there. And I never really thought about it. But I saw this show on this network that I happened to go through. I'm looking for stocks. I'm wanting to hear Claude Anderson. I'm wanting to hear Dr. Boyce. I'm wanting to hear what Jeff Lightsey got to say. I'm wanting to hear what Vicky Dillard's got to say. Oh, I saw some guys on here talking about farming. We have farmland. And it's that simple. A lot of times we complicate what progress looks like. Not to get in my spiritual or religious bag. We're not religious. We're religiously B1. You have to be a light. Lights don't talk. Lights just shine in a dark space. And so B1AG, we would like to see ourselves as light that bring attention to this wide field of opportunity of agriculture. And to us, this is the fight. A lot of us are challenge based. A lot of us are that have played sports. We understand the value of competition because competition makes you stronger, right? If you're not going into it asking. And so we need this next generation to understand that this is the fight of their lives, of food security. You can frame it as agriculture. You can frame it as farming. I tend to frame it as Black power. Black power is being able to feed yourself, to get up the next morning and keep increasing it.
In agriculture, it involves so much. Like you said, it's dealing with food security. It's dealing with ownership, land ownership. It's dealing with how much of this land has been stolen from us. It is a huge fight. And we are trying to market to kids, and not only to kids, but just rebuilding that bridge between our Black farmers and the community, because that's a bridge that has been broken. We don't really think about it, but we need to, especially now. Especially now. So we're here, us at B1AG, we're coming to you, we're talking about farming, but please understand that the intent is a lot larger. The stakes are a lot higher than whether you grow some corn or not. We're talking about hunger, we're talking about poverty, we're talking about land ownership, we're talking about having things. I grew up listening to UGK, Pimp C, and him and Big Mike had a song called "Having Things." And one of the things that we need to have, we're talking about having things, is not necessarily a Cadillac, but we need some acres. That's having things. Being able to refuel yourself, feed yourself. That's having things. Real assets that will help us move forward in the future. And that's
And
what
keep in mind, this is a $1 trillion sector just in the U.S. There are people around the planet that eat, 7.6 billion people around the planet that eat, and just in the U.S. alone, it's a $1 trillion sector that we're only getting, 0.04% of ag revenue sales.
So the bag is there.
The bag is there.
The bag is there. When you look at B1AG, I hope you can see bag, because the bag is there in agriculture. And we need to insert ourselves back in agriculture to get a piece of this bag, because it's our bag anyway.
Think about it. I know you've seen some of the younger people, on the phones. At any given time, you can reach 100 to thousands of people. Just something you say, right? We're in the tweet age where you only have 140. You have a few characters to get a thought across. There's young people now that don't necessarily haven't thought about growing anything, haven't thought about taking on ag as a career per se, that can literally affect the success of farmers who are actually farming. And this is simply, people on our level, as far as what we'll say ag educators. Hey, young man, young woman, you want to go out to this farm? And these are things when we talk about what are specific strategies, whatever area you are, can you facilitate these events where these young people who have thousands of people just on their phone that listen to what they talk about, take them to a farm? Let me facilitate, rent this van. Let me call this farmer up. Hey, Farmer John, Farmer Jill, can you, I got 15 students from here, where I'm at in the city that want to come out to the farm. How much is, we want to pay you an honorarium. How much would it be worth it to you for 2 hours of your time to, if you have a tractor and a trailer for a hayride, that would be great. But we just want to get these kids out here and get their cameras going. We want them to show these images, and you can't show it enough because you once again, you want to reinforce the visual of melanated people, not only going to a farm as a farm tour or just an experience, but you want to see people having fun. Seagram's is able to sell gin and juice because you saw the video, Daz and Snoop coming in, everybody's dancing turned up, and that made you think, hey, I want to have fun like they are. What are the things they have going on to where they're having this fun? And gin and juice was one of them. Why would food security be any different? Like, we all eat anyway. Why would we go to McDonald's versus a Burger King versus a Church's Chicken versus a Domino's Pizza versus a Crystal's? It's because it's advertised, it's available. We understand that there are they say about 40,000 black farmers left in North America, all of which aren't necessarily growing produce. Actually, the majority of black farmers now are growing livestock. How do we incentivize the farmers who aren't necessarily producing this food? Because once again, if I have all this land, I'm not about to just grow it based on somebody's idea. I'm not about to just grow based on, this is a great utopian theory you have about how I can sell my products. We need tangible, what I'll say, assets. These assets being our youth. Our youth are driving culture. We had talked about Lil Nas X and the Wrangler on my booty. That ended up being a multi-million-dollar deal with him and Wrangler, because Wrangler was working with small farms. They were wanting to infuse hemp and cotton in their jeans. And it just so happened at that time, Lil Nas X came out with the song Old Town Road. I doubt in Lil Nas X's mind, he was thinking about, I'm going to impact agriculture in the world, in North America, but he did just with a single line. And so when you apply this to millions of our youth who are already engaged in social media anyway, talk about the farmers who live close to where you're at. Talk about your uncle who has a farm. Talk about your auntie who has a egg operation or a chicken operation. Talk about your grandfather who you had visited a long time ago. You really didn't like the farm, didn't know what was going on, but now you hear people talking about it. You see all these posts going up about farming. It's going to stoke your interest. And, there's some very smart, when you think about these advertising agencies, this isn't just pictures going up on the screen. There is science to everything you see on the screen. There's a reason why it's called programming. The color yellow, I understood when I was doing my research with Farmer Brown MC. I had a few different, color schemes. My original favorite color was purple. I just always liked purple. I guess that's the royalty in me, right? But I realized the institution that I was attending at the time, and when you think about food, most food places, if you want to entice people's eyes, you're going to use yellow. Yellow is a bright color versus, hey, let me talk to you about farming and we're all black. That's going to evoke a certain emotion. Colors, when you think about wave spectrums, evoke emotions. When I go back to this book, me personally, just understand a little bit more about what's going on is going to make me more angry than anything. It's going to make me more angry than, ooh, I want to jump into this. I was an older guy when I started figuring out about the importance of agriculture. I was 30. I'm 40 now, so this has been like a 10-year. And once again, we had been into the hip hop, and so you and I had a different type of interest and passion, and really jumping into this, trying to figure out how can we take what we learned with just marketing, music, hand to hand marketing. How can we apply this to food security? Because you can't eat CDs, and they don't even have CDs no more. If you want to tie that to agriculture, it's going to come a point where you're not going to be just able to walk into a store and get food like we've been used to. It's going to be a digitized, non-human interaction, and this is in the next few years. I will tell you that ag tech is going to be one of the biggest game changers in what we call humanity. Currently in the state of Kentucky, I serve on Governor Andy Beshear's Ag Tech Council. I don't really do anything. We show up for the meetings, but what I do understand, this is the direction where agriculture is going. How can we make technology more viable? When I think about a lot of the youth that I come across, that they're already technologically savvy because they already interface with media more. So we have to identify, as parents, as concerned community members, okay, let me not look at your fixation with this device as a problem. On one end, I could wish you wasn't so attached to it, but since this is what it is, what can you do with that? And so immediately what comes to my mind is advertising. Let us not think that advertising only happens on a TV, on a commercial. Advertising happens every time somebody goes about their day. They document it with their device and other people see it. That's advertising. Can we make it colorful? Can we make it happy? Not skipping around in the field, but just make it where a person isn't upset. A person isn't like, oh, I'm going to get bugs on me, because that's going to turn somebody off. You want somebody, personally, my goal, I want young black students coming up in North America, 250,000 to be very precise, 250,000 who are in 3rd through 5th grade right now, to see black farmers as the Black Panther. I want them to see black farmers as the heroes. Because when we think about the nature of a fight, it's one thing I'm fighting for you to let me be on your TV. I'm fighting for you to let me sit in one of your offices. I'm fighting for you to let me work at one of your businesses or institutions. No, I'm fighting to protect the land that these people that came before me fought hard to get in the first place. Depending on how far back in your history you want to go, hey, this was our people's land and somebody came and tricked you out of it. And so the thing is, we want our children to be engaged in this mission, because agriculture isn't a thing where you just jump into, oh, it's cool and then I'm out. It doesn't work like that. This definitely has to be a lifelong commitment. I kick myself consistently that, I didn't know anything about this until I was 30. Because, my better years when I was a lot more sociable and, outdoors and all of that, if I would have known what I know now when I was younger, I think about how many millions of human beings we could have touched with something positive. And this was back in early 2000s. And so, we have to look at what are the resources we have available. And it's the young people, it's these devices and the imagery. We're a colorful people naturally. Whatever tribe set that we come from indigenously, we're colorful people. And so how do we apply what's already a part of our culture to creating a larger space for ourselves in agriculture? And let me add real quick, what you see going on now with the relief bill, there's advertising going on. I'm advertising this to you as a solution to a problem. Looking at it objectively, okay, because of this advertising, we do have a lot of people who are excited about it. I know at my personal job, a lot of farmers have been reaching out. Hey, how do we sign up? Where are the applications? If you notice on the bill, there were no applications. There was about 25,000 people who will benefit from it. It was 14,000 socially disadvantaged, and it was 18,000 black farmers. And so once again, because of the advertising, the excitement, it's not throwing shade, but because of a lack of context, because we're not, immersed into ag culture, just as a community, sometimes people can just throw anything at us and we think it's a win because we don't have a better context. Like we had discussed last time, I think if we're not in a situation where we're able to discern what means what, then this is what reparations is going to look like. It's going to turn into, hey, I'll give y'all loan forgiveness. Well, you can't get mad. Y'all said this was right. This was cool for the farmers. And so, hey, y'all should be cool with this for y'all's reparations. And so, once again, as a community, peace, Diamond Duval. Once again, as a community, we need to uphold our farmers. We shouldn't look to somebody else's media to put our farmers on the platforms that they deserve. These farmers aren't people who are out here looking for handouts. Black farmers aren't people out here groveling at somebody's feet, trying to get any bit of help they can get. These are the strongest people in the world you will meet, physically and more mentally. If you understand the fight, and I can't wait till we get into this series we're about to do. I ain't gonna tell them too much yet. The metal that it takes to stay in this game as a Black agriculturalist, you're not going to find it on a football field. You're not going to find it on a basketball field, especially on a stage or a studio. And as a community, we need to place more value on our Black agriculturalists, and we do this through advertising, talking about it, sharing pictures, sharing stories. Once again, if you got a couple $100 that you just want to spend, hey, let's get some vans and get these people out to some Black farms. Just let some of these students and their parents walk around on some of these farms. Take your shoes off. Feel that soil in your feet. You're advertising. We have to be creative.
Definitely have to be creative. And that's why I hope the B1AG family, we got some creative, we have a lot of creative content for you. We have a lot of creative agricultural content for you. This is not something that we just started doing. I've been farming. I started farming with my grandfather back in 1988. And he was farming well before then. As far as me and Farmer Brown, we've been on this journey going on 11 years. It's 11 years with me and Farmer Brown pushing this agenda because it is important to us. And we've seen the importance and the opportunities, more importantly, the opportunities that are available for us, the B1 family. There are a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of money available. B1AG, the bag is there. The bag is right there in front of your face. The bag is there. We just got to go grab it. And a lot of times we don't grab this bag because we just don't know it's there. But it is there. And the opportunity to grab, not just to make money, but just to live a more fulfilling life, because you don't have to turn to someone else or another entity for necessities. We need to get back into the mindset of the necessities we need. We produce that. I don't need to go to you for food. I got my own food. I don't need to go to you for transportation. I have my own transportation. I don't need to go to you for electricity. I have my own power. I make my own power. It's about ownership and being able to produce for yourself. And that's that growth mind state.
When you think about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I was looking at it. It was a interview. It was him. He was on the phone. Dick Gregory. It was a whole bunch of people. It was like 7 people. This is from the 70s, and way back then, because the question was, is it too late? Is it too late for Black people to have something in America? And he was saying back then, if we don't start growing our food, very specific, you need to produce the things that you need before trying to do any politics with anybody. Because what happens is, hey, man, I don't like what you did to me. Feed yourself. Oh, you don't like what I did? Well, you can't eat. What position? I mean, we sometimes it looks like it's conspiratorial, Chicken Little, the sky's falling, but this is real, y'all. This is real. When we say Black producers, primary operators, meaning this is the person who owns this land. We've all heard the story about sharecroppers. A lot of our ancestors were sharecroppers. That was the economic model available at that time. When we don't defend those who produce, who is going to defend us when we're gentrified out of these cities? What is our alternative? Like I said, when we talk about B1AG, it's not the concept of, hey, now everybody just, put on some overalls and go farm. And we don't mean that at all. It's really looking at wherever you're at, in your respective location and your operation. How important is Black agriculture in your daily function? Maybe you don't have time to grow anything, but you have to eat. And this is what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad understood. Like, hey, before we can do anything, we have to eat. I actually had gone down to Brother Muhammad's farm down in Georgia, and he was just talking about the people don't understand. Like, we have this farm here, but how do we market it? We don't have access to CBS, NBC, all the big name stations. And this is the beauty of the Black Boss channel, that we're slowly building this platform. And it's very important that we talk about farming. As we go, we have some brothers like Tyson Graves. We have a lot of brothers coming on to give some real practical information on how to go about farming, how to make money with your operation, what to do with your land. Okay, you have elders. How do you go about getting wheels? How do you go about putting your land in trust, and so generations later don't go off and sell it for pennies on the dollar? These are all conversations we need to consistently have. We need to be broken records, because Seagram's Gin realized, let me just keep reinforcing this concept of alcohol, alcohol, alcohol. I'll use this rapper, I'll use that rapper, I'll use this singer, use this singer. Suddenly y'all turned up on alcohol. This concept of lean. All the drugs people take, if you think about it, I don't know if you remember Lil Wayne, he had done an article a few years back, and he said, somebody came to him and said, man, if you want to be successful with music, talk about drugs. And think about it. Think about it. Where would you hear about drugs if it wasn't from something that you look to for entertainment, right? Like, nobody goes to Google like, now how can I find drugs? It's through the entertainment. You're riding, you might be in the back seat with your parents riding. You hear people riding past, you hear the radio. And it's amazing the things that get censored. You and I have had some discussions about some of our content on here, but it's amazing what gets censored versus what gets disseminated to the public. And, personally, as a hip hop person, I'm rap to the core, down south rap to the core. I'm aware of the words used. I came up on UGK, Master P, Cash Money as well, right? But understanding, okay, if these people had the impact they had with trapping, with bling bling, with twerk culture, whatever we talk about, I understand that this same dynamic can exist with agriculture. But as a community, we just have to keep bringing it up, keep having this conversation.
Definitely. And here at B1AG, we will continue having this conversation. We're going to push this conversation as far as we can do, when we're trying to connect as many people as we can connect. And we also want to see what you're doing in agriculture. Like I said, I don't care if you have a 100-acre farm, if you just have a little garden, or you just have a little styrofoam cup that you're growing your first plant with. Show it to us. Let us know. Let's listen. We want to encourage each other to put these seeds in the ground. We want to encourage each other to grow something. We want to encourage each other to become more self-efficient, self-sufficient, living intently. That's our goal here at
Black
B1AG.
power got to be fueled by something.
For real. And chips ain't going to do it. Shout out to Master P with the rap snacks, but I can't live off rap snacks. I need a little bit more than that. I'm a big guy. I'm 6'4", about 260. I need some good veggies, and something that's gonna help keep me moving and just fueled up, to drive through this day. And I know we're all the same way. So that's how we're gonna go out today. We're gonna close out the show. But for our listeners out there, have a conversation. Just get on your timelines. Just put something out there about agriculture, farming.
Hey, does anybody know any black farmers? Ask them for a friend.
Put it out there.
Hey,
You'll be surprised.
I got a $500 budget for the next 4 months, and I want to intentionally spend with Black farmers. It's gonna pop up. Join Black Farmers Nationwide. This is a popular group on Facebook. Where there's a will, there's a way. If you want to do something, it'll get done. We within our community have to incentivize ourselves to want this to happen. There's different layers to it. It isn't just farmer and consumer. There's consumer, there's producer, there's the distributor, there's the people doing the work, there's the marketing, there's the shelf spacing, the actual color. Color makes a big difference in everything. Of okay, I'm looking at this shelf and I see 8 different kinds of corn. Which one am I going to buy? Corn looks the same. And so Jolly Green Giant sells a lot because we grew up with Jolly Green Giant. It's called brand loyalty. I remember when we went to school, and I'm gonna shut up. When I was in elementary school, they used to have Coke machines in our schools. And as I got older, I had taken a couple psychology courses. They did that intentionally to create lifelong consumers. If I get you as a child to see Coca-Cola as, when I'm thirsty, this big red, metal thing, I can push a button and there's a Coke gonna come out. A child doesn't understand marketing. A child doesn't understand consumerism. They understand there's a desire I have of thirst, and what was available to me is either this little gray water fountain, or this nice big bright red, color red triggers, this big bright red box that'll give me a canned pop. There was a time where a canned pop didn't exist. I say pop, some people say soda. There was a time it didn't exist. That had to be marketed to us. I had talked about Hormel and marketing bacon. At a time, bacon didn't exist as a breakfast staple. It took marketing. And so, once again, we have to market ourselves back into agriculture. Let us not let other people create our narrative, because it will turn into socially disadvantaged.
So y'all heard it. Hey, and as we end each show, if you really want to know something, tell them what they got to do, Farmer Brown.
Seeing is
Birdman
believing.
Hennry.
Learn how to grow something.
Hey, y'all plant a seed today. Welcome. We hope to see y'all again tomorrow. 4, 3, 2, 1. Countdown. Me and Black Shovels. Let's get these seeds in the ground. Y'all take it easy, be blessed, and prosperous. We out.